and welcome back to another episode of Bantz with Lawrencia. How are you all doing? I hope you're doing great. Today's episode is once again sponsored by Didi Beauty's Wigs. Now, this is lovely. We sell wholesale retail. Our details are on the screen. Get in contact with us and we get you sorted. Now, let's just dive into today's episode because we're going to be talking about Mohbad. Like, it's been revelations upon revelations, shocking details coming out. The police has partially concluded their investigation and they've released a cause of death. I mean, we're still waiting on the autopsy, but they've kind of come to the conclusion, naming their prime suspect and all that. Now, we all know he passed on, and a whole lot of people, they blamed Sam Larry and Naira Marley based on the incidents that Mohbad himself reported online about how they were bullying him, how they were beating him up, and every other thing that was going on. Now, according to the story, within the 72 hours before he passed on, he had a show in Ikorodu, and during that show he had a misunderstanding with his childhood best friend, PrimeBoy. Now, according to the story, before the revelation, people were saying, PrimeBoy, you know what happened to this guy, you should come out and say something. PrimeBoy released the video saying that how could people be accusing him of, killing his best friend, that he doesn't know what happened, that people should leave him alone because he's mourning the passing of Mohbad. Now, Naira Marley turned himself in, Sam Larry turned himself in, and before you could say Jack, Nigerian police declared PrimeBoy, the best friend of Mohbad, wanted with a 1 million naira bounty on his head for whoever is going to provide information leading to his arrest or bringing him to the station. Now, PrimeBoy turned himself in, and before he went into the police station, he was with his lawyer. He kind of granted an interview to TVC where he explained the situation. According to him, he said he was in the car on that Ikorodu event that actually they had a fight. There was a fight, but he said the whole thing was initiated by Mohbad because he was kind of intoxicated or high on something or hyper, Anyway, so he said there was a fight. Not really a fight, but let me just play the video of PrimeBoy so that you understand what he said. Now watch this.
Privileged to have an interview with Ibrahim Owoduni, who was declared wanted yesterday. We had this interview with him just before he turns himself in to the police. Let's go. Ibrahim, police say they've declared you wanted. That they've called you separately and you refused to come.
I can't say. That's a big lie. Like, I would like to receive a message from the police and I will refuse them. Even before all this wanted issue, I even want to turn myself, like not turning in. I want to go and explain myself at the station because people started accusing me wrongly, and so, but people that I called said I should chill, I should not go anywhere. So the police, like I should wait for them to invite me. So I keep waiting, and suddenly I just found myself wanted online yesterday. People started calling me that I wanted 1 million naira for who find me, and I was shocked. I was surprised. I called my lawyer, called my family, and they just said I should just calm down, that nothing will happen. So far I know nothing about it. So, and I'm here now. So.
Okay, what's your relationship with Mohbad?
Mohbad is my childhood friend. He's my friend. Like, all those time that stepmother no care. I was his stepmother then. I was his dad. I was his friend. I was everything to him because he lived with me then. My mom feed two of us together as son.
Were you with him the day he died?
No, I was not with him.
You were not with him?
I was not with him. We departed after that show because he chased me down from the car. That was on Sunday. On Sunday, he called me on Friday to come over on the island. I don't even know he has a show. So me getting to the island and he told me we're gisting, having fun, this, that, and next thing just said, sorry, I did not tell you I have a show at Ikorodu. The general said, I did not tell me now. And that day, that on Sunday, the next day is my brother's birthday. So and I said, okay. He now said after the show, then I can invite my brother to call me. Then he will like Is he talking to me?
No.
He said after the show that let's go for the show first. That after the show, then I will invite my friends over, and for them, like I will invite my junior brother over, and he will celebrate the birthday to him.
Okay.
And I said okay.
So why did he chase you out? Why did you say
He chased me out at town hall, inside the car, inside
why?
Because I was like, him and his wife were having an hidden like conversation, which maybe about this or that, but I don't even know. It's his family affairs, so I can't. But one thing I don't want is don't get down from the car. But on that matter, the issue that him and his wife had were like, Mohbad is fucking hot because I know him, and so it was not like I want to get down from the car. I said, why will you come down from the car? Why are you like this now? Then I'll be the one to get down to go and clear the road. This, that. Zlatan is still on stage. Mohbad, calm down.
How do you feel that they are saying you know something about his death?
How did I feel? I don't even know how I feel losing him. So now they are now accusing me. So the feelings is crazy. Like I just know God see it all. Like okay.
So what do you want now?
I want justice. I want justice for Mohbad, and I want that his wife. Why will his wife go online and start framing me? That's wrong.
Now, after PrimeBoy released this video, he went into the station. They arrested him, of course, and then the Nigerian police kind of released their own statement, video statement, talking about the 72 hours before his passing. Actually, they talked about Naira Marley being in custody, Sam Larry being in custody, about 2 other people being in custody, the nurse being in custody, and PrimeBoy. Now, according to Ranking, what they said that the nurse is the prime suspect, followed by PrimeBoy, Mohbad's childhood friend. Now, what they said was that there was a fight or there was an argument after the show at Ikorodu. They were going home, and then Mohbad wanted to go out and, wave at the crowd and all that. According to people in the car, the eyewitnesses there, because in that car was Mohbad's wife, the driver, and according to them, one other person was in the car. So he wanted to, go out, this open roof and wave to his fans. PrimeBoy said, don't do that, it's dangerous. Mohbad got angry, tried punching him, and punched the door and broke the glass. So he had an injury and there was blood everywhere. The glass was in his hands. He broke a finger or something like that. According to the story, they wanted to take him to the hospital, but Mohbad said he was not going to the hospital. He did not want to get recognized or something like that. Maybe they were trying to kind of cover the whole fight or something. According to PrimeBoy, he actually reached out to the show promoters, which were I think Cubana Chief Priest and Soso Sobereko. He told them what had happened, and then they told him to wait. They're going to try to resolve the situation, but he said they never came back to him, or maybe they just thought this is just 2 friends fighting, nothing wrong about that. Or maybe when they got out, Mohbad has already left. Now, according to the story, Mohbad got home the next day, being on Monday. The hands are swollen because there were glass in his hands. He was kind of feeling pains and all that. So they tried calling his nurse, and the nurse was not available. And then they decided to call one of his friends' nurse. That one too is under police custody. Which was now on Tuesday. They called the nurse. They sent him they had a video of the hands and everything. The nurse came in to treat him, gave him injection, cocktail of some drugs and drip. As soon as that hit his system, he started convulsing, vomiting, goosebumps all his face and all that. That was how they said he fainted or actually passed. So they took him to the hospital. The famous video we saw online where they were going to the hospital, and then that was when they got to the hospital and he was pronounced dead, brought in dead basically. Now, this is the whole story behind the whole thing. Although Sam Larry and Naira Marley are still in custody based on the bullying aspect of it, but the prime suspect regarding his passing is actually the nurse, which they said she's not even a qualified nurse. She's a student nurse, that kind of, goes around treating people. Now, just watch the statement from the police to get an idea of what they said happened.
5 suspects have so far been identified, arrested, and detained and interrogated on their alleged roles in the sequence of events that led to the death of the singer. The summary is as follows. Miss Feyi Sayo Ogedengbe is the auxiliary nurse who was contacted and invited by Yobami Sadiq, aka Spending, a friend of Mohbad, on 11 September 2023 to treat the singer at the deceased residence in Lekki. She eventually came on Tuesday, 12 September 2023 and administered 3 different injections, which are believed to have occasioned the chain of reactions that directly resulted in the eventual death of the singer. She is the principal suspect in the death of Mohbad. She acknowledged that it was the injections that she administered on the deceased that triggered the reactions which eventually led to Mohbad's death. Other expert opinions and witnesses' statements corroborated her admittance. Her actions of administering doses of tetanus toxoid, paracetamol, intravenous, and cetrazone injection, which was also administered intravenous on Mohbad at his residence, that's Mohbad's residence, on 12 September 2023, immediately triggered the reactions, including vomiting, goosebumps, and convulsion, that eventually resulted in the singer's death. This criminal liability is further heightened, granted the evidential fact that as an auxiliary nurse, she is not qualified to administer such medications or function as a qualified nurse. She also did this in a non-clinical environment and in a professionally negligent manner that negated standard medical protocols. 2. Mr. Yobami Sadiq, aka Spending. Sadiq is a friend to Mohbad who invited the auxiliary nurse to treat the deceased. He's been suspected of conspiracy in the death of the singer. His action in inviting a person known to him as an auxiliary nurse to attend to the deceased under a non-clinical setting occasioned Mohbad's death. He's being held for conspiracy to commit felony. Ibrahim Oluwatosin Owoduni, aka PrimeBoy, is a childhood friend of Mohbad. He attended the show at Ikorodu in Mohbad's company on 10 September 2023. At the end of the show, Mohbad and Ibrahim were engaged in a violent fight, during which Mohbad was injured. The management of the injury subsequently resulted in his death. So he's being treated as a suspect. Samson Balogun Eletu, aka Sam Larry, is a suspect who was arrested on allegation of being complicit in the death, as well as in relation to the videos that have gone viral about bullying and assaults, which in some quarters we believe perhaps had any link with his eventual death. He was arrested, he's still in detention. Abdulaziz Fashola, aka Naira Marley, was also arrested and is still currently in detention for similar allegations.
Now, according to the professionals, they said that the drug that were actually administered to Mohbad wasn't that she did a good job, but they said if it was in the hospital, there are some let's say somebody is reacting to certain medications or drugs, there are certain things that they would have given him to counteract that reaction. But because she was when he started having those reaction, she rushed to the chemist to buy some drugs. You see, that was the whole thing. If that was actually a hospital, they could have just gotten that drug and administered onto him. So this whole thing is just like heartbreaking, because this is so unnecessary. This death was so unnecessary. And I understand that, you know, he had a... Now, PrimeBoy is in police custody because obviously he had the fight with Mohbad. Although it was unprovoked, the injury was self-inflicted, and according to them, PrimeBoy was only trying to protect... You know, they said when the gods want to kill you, you will not hear. It turns you blind and deaf. You know, I think that was what happened. It just shows that there was, like, his end was near. Even in his song, he was singing all these things, but it was so unnecessary. You know, okay, you had an injury, go to the hospital. He, according to people around him, he said he didn't want to go to hospital. They took him home. His nurse was not available. Like, the whole situation surrounding his demise is so pathetic. It's so pathetic. Like, I can understand, you know, if I was the wife, listen, I would call the nurse, just give him something to sleep and then take him to the hospital instead of treating him at home. I understand he doesn't want to go to the hospital, but there are some people that you have to drag to the hospital. You know, you see people saying, oh, he's sick and he doesn't want to go to the hospital. What does that mean? I don't get it. Bundle him into a car, tie him up, do whatever you have to do to get him to the hospital. Like, I don't get it. But, you know, this happens on a daily basis. We hear family members saying that this person was sick, he refused to go to the hospital, he refused to take his medication, he refused to do this, he refused to do that. And I can understand maybe you don't even have money to go to the hospital and you're like, okay, if you're not even going, let's save money. But in a situation whereby this guy has money, and you could see that the wife don't even have a say in the whole thing. The way the hospital issue, the way he was buried, she had no say because she's only 24 years old. I can listen. It's just sad. It's just sad all way round, because this is an avoidable situation. If you have a family member who is sick and refusing to go to the hospital, find a way to take. If the person say no, bring nurse home. Bring a nurse to inject that person to put them down or put them to sleep, and then take the person to the hospital. Wake up in the hospital with chains. They stay there and be treated. There are certain ways people handle certain things. You know, I can never understand when somebody is saying that, oh, I have a family member who is sick and they are refusing to. Like, what does that even mean? What does that mean? Put them to sleep and take them to the hospital. If they are happy for a nurse to come and treat them at home, the duty of that nurse, if I was in that situation, is to give them sleeping tablets, do something that will knock them out, and then put them in a car and take them to the hospital. If they're going to tie them to that hospital bed, you tie them down there and get them the help that they need. This is so unnecessary. This is so unnecessary. Let us learn from this whole thing. I mean, it's still unfolding. We're still waiting for the autopsy results. We're still waiting for the toxicology reports. According to the incidents that happened on that day of the Ikorodu show, they said he was hyper, so he must have taken something. Like, there's so many things flying around. Anyway, we don't know. The only thing we can do is to learn from this whole thing. If you're sick, go to the hospital. Don't say you don't want to go. You don't want to go means what? This is a 27 years old man who has lost his life at the prime of his career. And right now, there's been different talks. Everybody's sitting now talking. We are sitting now making videos. Let us learn. Anyway, I'm going to be bringing you updates as this unfolds. Thank you very much for watching today's episode. Please like, and share. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.